Now let's talk about now let's talk about nickel and diming women. Ladies and gentlemen, be careful. And I say ladies and gentlemen, whether your sexual preference, you know, is heterosexual, bisexual, homosexual, whatever, or not sexual at all. Be careful of these nickel and dime women. What I mean is, a young lady, particularly women, because women have a lot of um, different ways. Men have ways of being charming as well, but women have a certain, I guess you would say, as a cliche or as a term or as French, je ne sais quoi, a certain aura, allure about them, whether it's, real gentle, sensitive, emotional type of way of making you feel sorry or build rapport with you. Be careful of these nickel and dime women. What I'm saying is, you have other women who look for sugar daddies to get them expensive gifts. You have greedy women who will just take, and even take your ass to court. Let's say for child support or something like that. For whatever the case may be, marriage, divorce, whatever. But you have a special select, seems to be trendy, type of women now who will nickel and dime you. I mean, literally, they'll squeeze $5 here and $5 there, $10 here and $10 there from you. Maybe not that exact amount, depending on what it is. For an example, they'll come visit you and ask you for gas money all the time, but they won't ask you just for the gas money. Let's say they only live 5 miles away. They ask you for a full tank. They say, well, why now? Why not be generous? Why am I being stingy? Maybe they can't afford it. No, that's not what it is. Because what they'll do is the next day they'll go over someone else's house and they'll ask them for the equivalent of a tank of gas. So these nickel and dime women aren't necessarily poor or without or can't do or don't have. Some of them even have jobs. But what they do is they go around and getting so-called donations from a lot of different sources to add up to one big source. So if you don't like being used, or maybe you just want to have a little bit of the edge in thought, or maybe you just want to at least just want to know this is going on, it may be beneficial to you to notice the patterns of a nickel and dime woman. And maybe it won't be $5 and $10, like I said, and maybe it won't just be gas money, depending on what you drive. Could be up to $100 to fill your tank, maybe more. They may even ask you, depending on who you are, for more than that. But they do it on a consistent basis, like clockwork, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. Even if it's just every few months, they ask you, hey, listen, I'm behind on my bills, can I have? Now see, they're not borrowing the money. And even if they are, they're not going to pay it back. And they do not expect you to ask for it back, because then they'll look at you like you're cheap or rude. They'll ask you, can I have? But it won't be a big amount, it'll be a small amount. Now, the reason why you want to take notice of this, because it's like a slow leak in your finances. Okay? And there's so many people that you could give that money to. Not just they will be more deserving, they will be more appreciative. Not only are these women asking for the money, but since they're nickel and diming you, they look at it as small little donations. So they really don't even appreciate it. So just be careful. There's a lot of women out there, cutting edges to add up to a whole loaf. Be careful of those nickel and diamond women.